Previously on 24.
How soon can you deploy once we arrive?
It'll take us 2 hours to assemble the delivery system and another hour to install the bomb.
That's longer than I'd hoped.
Just remember, without us, you'd be delivering your payload in weeks instead of hours. If we succeed today, the Arabs and the West will destroy each other.
Were you able to pick up anything on Verdanko?
No. The Glasgow Street house was deserted.
I think I might have a lead.
What is it?
Charles Logan.
Logan. He said his retreat under house arrest.
So, you need Verdanko to find Fayed.
Can you help us?
I never dealt with Verdanko directly, but I know how we can find him.
How?
Through Anatoly Markov. He's the Russian consul general here in Los Angeles.
I don't trust you.
If you want to find Verdanko, maybe it's time you started.
We're taking a great risk, Mr. President. You and I are both sharing that risk, sir. We have 3 more nuclear weapons loose in my country. I want a public statement of support from your Prime Minister, and I want it to follow right on the heels of Assad's.
A public endorsement of him could have grave political consequences for the Prime Minister.
And then you tell your Prime Minister that we have a carrier group operating less than 25 miles off his shores.
It's all right. The President's gonna die. There's nothing you can do about it.
You've got to put a stop to this, Reeve.
Sir, there must have been a moment when you were on board with this plan. Did you change your mind along the way? I need to know.
I was against you from the start. You're just as bad as Fayed.
All right, here we go for a run through, everyone.
What is this?
Bomb! Citadel has been hit. Send a medical team. I repeat, Citadel is down. Send a medical team now.
The following takes place between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m.
This is Hawkins. We've reached emergency med bay with further. I want you to stay posted outside, understood? Yes, sir.
Gotta thank you. Let me be clear about this before we go anywhere. You are a federal prisoner under my custody. You do not make a move unless I tell you to. You understand me?
You don't have to threaten me, Jack. I know what my role is. I just want to be of service.
As far as I'm concerned, you'll never do anything that'll erase what you've already done.
I understand your anger. I do. But if you want to find Verdanko, we should leave now.
Get in the car.
I haven't been outside these gates in over a year. I'm sorry, Jack. You don't need me to tell you what it's like to be locked up.
You're right, I don't.
I know how it feels to be locked away from the rest of the world. Lonely. The silence. Plays with your sanity. But in that silence you can hear the voice of your deepest self. And if you listen to that voice, you have a chance to heal.
Power.
Jack, it's Bill. Are you on your way to the consulate?
Yes.
Before you get there, you need to know something. There was an assassination attempt on President Palmer. He was wounded, but we don't know the extent of his injuries yet.
Oh my God. How did this happen?
Details are still coming in. Secret Service thinks it was Assad.
What?
They think he smuggled some kind of explosive device into the White House bunker.
Bill, that doesn't make sense. Assad was working with the president to stop Fayed.
That's what he said he was doing.
He wasn't lying.
He's dead, Jack. It doesn't matter if it was him or not. He can't help us stop Fayed. Which means you're following our only live lead.
I understand. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm at the consulate.
What happened?
There was an assassination attempt on William Palmer.
Line's clear, replace it.
Good. Get rid of that.
This doctor?
What kind of stuff? Make sure you count it back and shrapnel.
What's that?
Hey, Kelly. It's me. Stand by. Scan us out.
You want me to ask? Go.
Excuse me, Mr. Pollock.
Yes, what do you want?
The Vice President's being telebriefed in the conference room.
The SecDef wants Mr. Lennox there.
Well, Mr. Lennox is occupied. I'm covering for him.
Dr. Welton is monitoring the medical team, so I've asked him to brief us directly on the president's condition.
Mr. Vice President.
Go ahead.
We're still trying to stabilize President Palmer. He was hit by shrapnel, which entered his upper chest and neck. He didn't suffer any direct head wounds, but he is unconscious.
Can you determine when he might be able to resume his presidential duties?
Sir, the president was within 10 feet of a high-velocity explosive device. He survived it all. It's a miracle.
Mr. Vice President, as Secretary of Defense, I'm the ranking member of this committee, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say we have no way of knowing when or if the president will recover enough to function. We need to proceed under the assumption that the president's duties are now yours.
I'm going to be landing in a few minutes. As soon as I get there, I want a full security briefing from Tom Lennox.
Yes, sir. We'll see you here soon. Please submit your task profiles to my office. We'll reconvene when the Vice President gets here. Reed. Where the hell is Tom Lennox?
I believe that he's conversing with the Attorney General.
I just spoke with the AG. He's had no contact with him.
Well, then I'm not sure.
You work for the man? You don't know where he is?
President Palmer was expecting him in the broadcast studio, and he didn't show up.
Tom Lennox is missing. Have your team sweep the bunker. Find him.
Yes, sir. 1020 on Tom Lennox. This is a priority request from the SecDef.
You had the clarity to understand how to keep this country safe. But the president was an obstacle. We did what was necessary. Is he dead?
No, but he's injured badly enough that he won't be able to serve. Secret Service is looking for Lennox. They're sweeping the bunker.
Only handle him while there's still time.
No.
Look, I told you before, I can make it look like a suicide. The situation will support it. He was depressed after the president rejected his plan.
No, we cannot kill Tom Lennox.
Why not?
Because we're not murderers. What we did was necessary for the sake of national security. Killing Lennox is just about us trying to cover our involvement.
Getting caught? Never part of the plan.
Don't touch it.
Or what?
Or you'll have to kill me, too. Listen, I know Tom Lennox. He can be reasoned with.
So you really did it.
Only because it had to be done. You were the one who warned us all that the logic of this current engagement would demand extreme action. You said that for the greater good, individuals would need to be sacrificed.
I wasn't referring to the President of the United States.
Sir, the President's policies would have aided the enemy. They may have been well-intentioned, but they were naive, and they were dangerous, and you know that. Vice President Daniels is running this country now. He will implement your security plan. But if you implicate us, it will only drag you into this, and it will make your security plan that much harder to push through.
I'm the one trying to stop you, Reed.
They'll never believe you. Sure, the only way to stop these nuclear weapons from being detonated on U.S. soil is through the proposals in your security plan.
And all I have to do is do nothing.
Yes. Carson has matched the bomb signature to a design used by Assad's organization. The FBI will put this all on Assad. No one needs to know the truth.
I don't know.
Sir, a guilty conscience is a fair price to pay for the survival of this country.
They're coming.
Do you understand the situation, sir?
I do understand, Reed.
I know that you will do the right thing. Time to cut him loose.
Mr. Lennox, you all right?
Yes, Agent Lowry.
Sir, the Secretary of Defense has been looking for you.
Agent Lowry, these men are responsible for the attempted assassination of the president. I'm surrendering myself into custody till I can talk to the Attorney General, but I want them arrested now.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Lisa.
I've sifted through the latest flashes. These are the ones you need to take a look at.
I went over everything on the plane. I want to follow up on the one from CTU.
I'll get them on the line.
CTU.
I have the Vice President calling for Mr. Buchanan.
Hold, please.
This is Bill Buchanan.
Sir, one moment for the Vice President.
Bill, I see from the White House flashes that President Palmer granted Charles Logan some kind of furlough. I'm curious as to what circumstances could possibly have led to that.
Logan claims he can help us find Dmitry Gordenko, the man who supplied the terrorists with the suitcase nukes.
How?
Through the Russian consul in Los Angeles. Logan believes this man will know how to find Gordenko. He insisted on approaching the consul.
Frankly surprised. President Palmer trusted Charles Logan to conduct any business on the government's behalf.
I believe the president's decision was informed by the fact that we have no other active leads on Gordenko.
Is Logan being supervised?
Yes, by one of our agents, Jack Bauer. Bauer's been instructed to keep Logan on a short leash.
You keep me posted to any progress. And as soon as this plays out, I want him back under house arrest.
Yes, sir.
You can come with me into the consulate. I need to speak to Markov alone.
You don't leave my sight.
And this is a waste of time. Markov won't tell us what we need to know if you're in the room.
I don't let you out of my
What do you
sight.
think I'm going to do in there, Jack? Request asylum? If it's any comfort, I don't think the Russians would take me.
Fine. You can talk to the consul on your own, but I will be right outside the door. You try and move more than 20 feet away from me, and I will know.
I'm going to prove you wrong, Jack. I'm only trying to help. The consul is expecting you, Mr. President. Follow me, please.
Mr. President,
Anatoly.
it's good to see you.
It's a pleasure, sir.
How have you been?
Very well. Still trying to do my best for my country. As much as circumstances will allow, of course.
My sincere sympathies to your people for the tragedy this morning. You have condolences and the support of my country. So, how can I help you?
The bomb that exploded this morning was a Russian suitcase nuclear device supplied to the terrorists by Dmitry Gordenko. No, thank you. I don't smoke anymore.
Mr. President, those weapons were destroyed as part of our treaty.
We're certain of our facts, Anatoly. But I didn't come here to make accusations. I came here because we need to know where Gordenko is.
I will ask Moscow to try to locate him immediately.
I'm not asking Moscow. I'm asking you. I know that you two are close, and you have been ever since you fought together in Afghanistan. So, I ask again, where is he?
I don't know. Dmitri and I were close for many years, but not now.
Forgive my lack of diplomacy, but I don't believe you. And I'm willing to force the issue. Moscow has always suspected that someone inside the Russian government helped supply the Sentox nerve gas to the separatists 2 years ago. I have the tapes, Anatoly, of every phone call you made to my people. I will send them to President Suvorov.
You gave me your word that my role would remain secret.
My promise is rendered null and void by the fact that the terrorists that Grudenko is helping have 3 more bombs.
I haven't spoken to Grudenko for more than 1 year.
I will send a tape. She'll be recalled to Moscow, and you will never be heard of again.
You can send all the tapes you like. Destroy me many times over. I do not know where Grudenko is.
All right, Tommy, I believe you. Please forgive my tactics. I'm trying to save people's lives. So, if you know anyone else who might still be in contact with Grudenko,
I will make calls. But, as far as I know, everyone else has cut off contact with Dmitri as well.
any support would be greatly appreciated.
Of course.
Anatoly?
President.
He says he hasn't spoken to Grudenko in a year. He's lying. They're still in contact. And he knows enough about what's going on to want to deny that.
How do you know?
Because I've done enough lying myself to be familiar with the signs.
Yes?
The United States has connected you with terrorists.
Are you sure?
I sent Charles Logan to try and force me to give up your location.
The reason we brought the Arabs into this was to conceal our involvement. Now we expose. Russia is exposed.
The Americans are speculating. They have no evidence. If they did, they wouldn't have sent Logan.
I don't know.
Don't worry, Dmitri. By the time they find anything, it will be too late.
All right. Let me know if you hear anything more.
Drive through the front gates, pull over as soon as you're out of sight of the guards.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do?
Brian.
Chloe, it's Jack. I need you to gain access to the DWP server. I want you to disable the power going to the Russian consulate as soon as you can. Chloe, you need to do this under the radar.
How long do you need the power out for?
60 seconds. Make it look like a grid failure in case the consulate tries to contact the DWP.
I'll get back to you when I'm ready.
Are you going back in there? Jack, you just spent nearly 2 years in a Chinese prison because you violated the sovereignty of their consulate. Now you plan to go back into the Russian consulate and take a chance on that happening again?
As nightfall approaches in the Pacific time zone, hazmat teams and emergency crews in Valencia, California continue to search for survivors, while the official death toll stands at just over 12,000. And the number is rising.
Hi.
Where are you?
I'm still at the airport waiting for my plane. Why? What's up?
About a half hour ago, there was an attempt made on President Palmer's life.
What?
They won't know the full extent of his injuries until he regains consciousness.
There's been nothing of this in the news.
It hasn't been made public yet. The vice president's on his way back to the White House. He's already assumed executive duties.
I have to go back.
You think Daniels will have you back? You've already tendered your resignation.
Nothing's been processed. Technically, I can withdraw my resignation. I've got to go back, Bill. Look, I'll call you when I get there, okay?
Once we're settled in, I want to go over an annotated copy of the Lennox proposal. I'll need you to work up a distribution list.
The president rejected that plan.
What's your point?
Don't you think it might be a little too soon to enact it?
It's based on a Muslim terrorist to set off a bomb inside the White House. Anything we
delayed this far too long.
Vice President?
Hello, Ethan. What's the president's condition?
Well, they've managed to stabilize him, but it's still too soon to make a prognosis. Something else has come up. There's been a development in the investigation of the assassination attempt. Tom Lennox has remanded himself into custody.
Lennox? What are you talking about?
Just about 2 hours ago. That's when Reed first hinted that there was a plot against the president.
But you waited an hour before you tried to report it.
Because there was nothing actionable. Just all innuendo. I was simply trying to wait and find out more. By the time I realized they were making their move, Reed caught me trying to alert Agent Hollister.
That's when he struck you over the head and tied you up.
That's correct.
So, when you provided Bruce Carson's clearance into the White House...
No, I didn't provide anybody clearance. Reed stole my clearance card.
And gave these men the president's classified itinerary, you were just pretending.
Yes.
Or maybe it's just that you had second thoughts.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Lennox alone, please.
Yes, sir.
I tried to stop this, Noah.
I'd like to believe it, Tom. But I'll leave it to the Justice Department to determine your role in this, as well as Assad's.
Assad? It was setting him up. He had nothing to do with this.
You don't know that. It's my understanding you suggested that others, besides Reed and this man, Carson, may have been involved.
Only because Reed implied as much. I was just trying to ferret out who else might be involved.
Did you? Then it is conceivable that Assad may have been at the very least a willing participant in this attack.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Assad was a terrorist who hated this country and everything it stands for. What better way for him to rally his people than to martyr himself by murdering the President of the United States?
Don't you understand that is exactly what Reed and Carson wanted this to look like? And now you're playing right into it.
I am going to address the nation shortly to inform the public about what's happened.
Until I have all the facts, I am not about to tell them that Hamri al-Assad is innocent in this.
I see what you're doing here, Noah. By scapegoating Assad, you'll be able to reverse the president's agenda, get even more aggressive with the Islamic community. You think I don't see what you're doing here?
It's your plan, Tom. You outlined those measures yourself. I was your staunchest advocate.
What has happened to the president is horrific. But if there is any good to come from this, it's that we now have the opportunity to do what we both know is in the best interest of protecting this country.
You're asking a whole heck of a lot more than for me just to maintain silence on Assad.
The cabinet knows that you are the architect of the plan. If you're not on the face of it now, it may raise questions. Or have you come to believe the president was correct in rejecting your proposals?
No, I know. It's the only way to stop these attacks.
Then you can stick to your assertion of Assad's complete innocence. Or I can clear you of these charges and you can help me to initiate your plan, which we both know is in the best interest of the country.
Agent Lowry.
I want Mr. Lennox's statement promoted to the Attorney General until it's gone through my office.
Yes, sir.
Почему ты здесь? Мне не приказали охранять здесь.
logged onto the DWP server. You have a 60-second window before the building circuits kick back in.
Hold on. Shut it down now.
What is happening?
I don't know. Something's wrong.
You check the upper level, I check the lower level.
Got it.
Дайте перезвоню.
This is where I can see him. He's doing sending you here. Where's Gdenko?
I told him I don't know.
We know you're lying. Get hands away from the desk now! Sit down!
You're breaking international law, violating sovereignty of the consulate.
I don't have time to ask nicely. Where's Gdenko?
I don't know, I swear.
Listen to us. I'm not sure what's happening when the power came back on. The console's panic button was triggered.
Consul Markov, are you alright? I've taken the consul hostage at gunpoint. If you make any attempt to enter this room, I will kill him. Do you understand me?
Fine, these menace. Alert Moscow.
Bueno.
CTU operations.
Miss Jack, let me speak to Buchanan.
Check Bauer on line 1.
What's going on, Jack?
Bill, I got a situation. Logan's play didn't work, so I came back to the consulate to talk to Markov myself. Before I could get any information from him, I was discovered. I barricaded myself in his office, but I don't know how much more time I've got.
It's Russian territory. I can't sanction what you're doing.
I know, Bill. I'm calling because you need to call the White House and advise them.
I want you to stand down. Find a way out.
I'm not going anywhere until Markov tells me how to find Gdenko. I'll get back to you as soon as I've got something.
Mr. Vice President, the press secretary has set up for your televised address. You'll be going live in approximately 10 minutes.
Thank you, miss. Have you finished drafting my statement?
I'll have it for you momentarily. I thought you should know I just received word Karen Hayes has withdrawn her resignation. She's on her way here now.
Do we know what prompted her resignation in the first place?
Officially, it was to return to Los Angeles to be with her husband. But rumor has it she stepped down because of her opposition to the Lennox plan.
Mr. Vice President, I have Bill Buchanan on the line.
This is the Vice President.
Sir, a situation has developed at the Russian consulate.
What kind of situation?
Jack Bauer has taken Russian Consul Markov hostage. He's holding him at gunpoint inside the consulate.
What? How could that happen?
Markov denied having any contact with Rudenko, but Logan insisted he was lying. When the escort left the consulate, Bauer went back to question Markov. That's when he was discovered.
God.
Did you approve these actions?
No, sir. Bauer acted on his own authority.
And the questionable assumption of Charles Logan.
Sir, Bauer has absolutely no reason to trust Charles Logan. Yet he was convinced enough to take the action that he did.
In any event, he's created a diplomatic mess.
If Markov has information that could lead us to Gdenko, then extracting it is our only chance to stop the next nuke from being detonated.
Excuse me, sir.
Not now, Lisa.
Sir, it's President Suvarov.
Bill, I don't know how long I can hold off the Russians. If Markov is connected to these nukes, Bauer better get it out of him fast.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, this is Vice President Daniels.
I was expecting to speak to President Palmer.
My apologies, I'm afraid he's unavailable.
Unavailable?
Sir, I'm speaking on his authority. I assume that you're calling about the incident at your consulate. But let me assure you, this man is acting on his own and not under the orders or authority of the United States government.
Nevertheless, this is a gross violation of our sovereignty. If your agent does not stand down immediately, my country will have no choice but to retaliate with the most forceful diplomatic measures at our disposal.
I understand your position, Mr. President, but before you escalate this, you should understand mine. We've learned that Consul Markov is most likely in contact with Dmitry Gradenko, who we've linked to the nuclear attack that took place on U.S. soil this morning. If that's true, we will look upon him as a co-conspirator in the attack.
Mr. Vice President, I deeply regret the tragedy that your country has experienced today, but you must make these charges through proper diplomatic channels after your agent has surrendered.
I want to know where Gradenko is and what he's doing.
I haven't spoken to Gradenko since he arrived in the United States.
I never said he was in the United States. Why don't I tell you what we know? We already know that Gradenko supplied Fayed with the 5 suitcase nukes. What doesn't make sense is why he's still involved, unless, of course, he's doing something else for Fayed. That's what we want to know. What is Gradenko doing for Fayed? You're gonna tell me what I want to know, or you're gonna start losing your fingers one by one. This is your last chance.
I've got the feed. Don't move in yet. He's too close to Markham.
You have one of two choices. You can either give me the information that I want, and I'll go pick up Gradenko. Or I can kill you. And I'll make sure Gradenko finds out. And he'll panic, because he'll think you gave him up before you died. Be forced to use his exit route. Either way, he stops what he's doing in this country now. The choice is yours. How do I find Gradenko?
Mojave Desert, Shadow Valley.
We're in the Shadow Valley. What's he doing? What is he doing?
Launching drones. Aerial drones for Fayed. Delivery system for nuclear bombs.
How soon will the drones be ready?
2 hours. In 2 hours, all the bombs will be in the air.
Bitch.
Let anyone near this man, do you understand?
My fellow Americans, I regret to inform you that a short time ago, President Palmer was seriously injured in an assassination attempt at the White House. Thankfully, he is alive and currently in stable condition. The prime suspect, Hamri al-Assad, was killed in the explosion. And in light of this heinous and cowardly act, compounded by the tragedy in California, I will be pushing forward an aggressive agenda of national security. One that will, out of necessity, suspend certain civil liberties. This is the price of war. Make no mistake. That is exactly what this is.
You weren't able to reach Jack. No, but my system logs confirm he did try calling. We monitoring communications in and out of the Russian consulate.
We are, but diplomatic traffic is encrypted with an advanced algorithm that we've never been able to crack. But I think I have a way around that. One of the computers at the consulate isn't properly shielded, so I'm picking up a digital shadow of their messages before they're encrypted. Look.
What's that?
ASCII code.
It is?
Yeah, in Russian. Just a load of Cyrillic grid. Should be good to go. This minute, yet joy. Oh no. They're saying they've got an American agent in custody.
Forceful and decisive action needs to be taken. I promise you.
Buchanan.
Sir Morse has intercepted some bandwidth from the Russian consulate. Apparently they got to Jack.
What do you mean got to him?
They moved in on his position and recovered Markov. So they're holding Jack prisoner. So we probably should inform the Vice President?
No, not yet. He's in a diplomatic standoff with Suvorov. He won't get anywhere with a direct appeal.
So what's our next move?
Have Special Ops drop a plan to get into the consulate. I want to give the Vice President the option to take the consul by force. And hopefully rescue Jack.
Разрешите все здание. Убедитесь, что американец был один. Слушаюсь, мы проверим все уголки.
We're gonna need some Buranglaski.
Enough.
Please, you have to listen to me.
I'm not allowed to talk to you.
It's because your consul doesn't want you to hear what I know. Dmitry Gudenko was responsible for supplying the terrorists with a nuclear bomb that was detonated earlier today. Markov is working with him, against the orders of your government.
We'll get the chance to make these allegations through the appropriate channels.
No, there's not enough time. Gudenko has 3 more bombs. They're gonna find their targets by way of unmanned drone aircraft.
With the consul's knowledge? That's a ridiculous accusation.
He's the one who told me he confessed.
Under duress!
He gave me Gudenko's location. He told me the aircraft would be ready to launch within 2 hours. I know you believe me. You know about Markov's connection to Gudenko. Please, you have to help.
If you are telling me the truth, there's nothing I can do. The consul approves all communications to Moscow.
I don't want you to call Moscow. I want you to call CTU. I want you to give them Gudenko's location and advise them of the time frame.
Where is he?
Somewhere in the high desert, in the Shadow Valley. You need to call 310-597-3781. You need to tell them you have a message for Bill Buchanan from me. My name is Jack Bauer. Please.
Hope you're telling me the truth. You're sick as well as mine.
You know I am. Otherwise, you wouldn't even consider doing this. You need to hurry.
CTU?
I need to speak to Bill Buchanan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Buchanan is in a meeting. Can I take a message?
It's urgent.
One moment, please. Mr. Buchanan?
Thank you, Marcy. I'll be right
There's a
there.
man on the line from the Russian consulate. He says it's urgent.
This is Bill Buchanan. Hello.